Hello everyone, welcome to Res Snapper. My name's MJ and this is Snap or Pass, where we look at the new cards coming to Marvel Snap each week. And this week it's Hydra Stomper. He's a 3/2 ongoing +1 power for each time one of your cards moved this game. In this video we'll be looking at counters, synergies, decks, all of the mechanics around the card, and it's going to be an awesome time. You should definitely subscribe. Hell, you don't even have to watch all the video, just skip to the section you want. But true legends do watch everything because you wouldn't want to miss it. Right, let's talk about the transition from Spotlight Caches to Snap Packs, because Hydra Stomper is a unique card in that you'll be able to get him via both. And I'm just going to readjust that slightly because despite doing that at the start of the video, I'm not happy with how it looks. So, you can get Hydra Stomper in the Spotlight Caches, but you only have a small window to do it, and you have to do some sort of jiggery pokery, okay, alright? So I've put a couple of time zones on the screen. I don't know where you live, guys, despite your threats that I do, or worries, concerns. No, don't. Why am I laughing at that? It's not even funny. Don't have unrestrained laughter. Anyway, right, so yeah, it's like, I think it's like approximately 8 AM. Just, it doesn't even say. I think it's approximately. I just said the word approximately. Everyone's turned off. So approximately 11 AM Eastern time in the US and approximately 4 PM in the UK. This is when the patch will drop, and the patch brings with it Snap Packs. However, if you want Hydra Stomper via Spotlight Caches instead, don't update. Like, make sure you haven't got automatic updates installed on your phone or whatever, however you play it, right? Wait until the refresh later in the day, which is 4 hours later approximately, and then open your game and then open your Spotlight Caches. That's if you want Aranya and Madam Web and Hydra Stomper, because all three of them are Series 5 cards. That's a total of 18,000 tokens of value. So if you need all three, you are better off getting them in Spotlight Caches. After 48 hours, there'll be a forced update and you'll be forced to get the patch, okay? So you basically only got 2 days to get Hydra Stomper through Spotlight Caches. But if not, if you're just like, yeah, fuck it, upload my game straight away, mate, update, get a patch on there, you know, shan. Then yeah, you're going to be able to get Hydra Stomper through Snap Packs. You can also just buy them outright with tokens, of course. This is how we're going to look at things going forward. So if you want Hydra Stomper and you open a seasonal Series 5 Snap Pack, you could also get any of these cards if you don't own them. Agamotto, Starbrand, Aeson, Firehair, Khonshu, Goliath, Kahori, Infinity Ultron newly buffed, and Strange Supreme. So you could get any of these cards. So it's a bit of a gamble, but yeah. Anyway, let's look at the mechanics of Hydra Stomper. I think primarily he's a more narrow card than we've seen recently. He really does fit into just move decks that are moving a lot of cards. That might include decks like Silky Smooth as well. There might be a bit of opportunity for him in there. Maybe Caps decks, because Caps decks automatically move a lot of cards. Not automatically, but they have the ability to move cards multiple times, so that shield moving every turn, that could be like a +4 on your Hydra Stomper, so could be quite good. And then maybe move disruption. The thing is, Hydra Stomper only gains power for each time you've moved one of your cards. It doesn't count your opponent's cards. However, in move disruption decks, there are cards like Spider-Man who move an opponent's card and himself, or Uncle Ben, obviously the same thing, or even just like Craven with the cap shield in there as well. It might be an opportunity. So he's +1 power every time one of your cards has moved, so it counts multiple movers like Werewolf by Night. They're moving multiple times. Hydra Stomper is going to count each of those as well. You can stick Werewolf by Night in just a standard move deck where you've got Iron Fist and Ghost Spider. You're getting those multiple triggers on multiple turns, so that could be quite nice. In an average move deck, however, he can reliably reach 4+ additional power. Like, in a normal style of move deck, you're generally not moving less than 4 times, so it's going to be a 3/6. Nothing to get excited about, however, certainly nothing to sniff at. We like 3/6, doesn't feel bad at all to play a 3/6. And it's a nice way to keep a scaling power in one position or location in a move deck. Sometimes move decks can get a bit dicey and confusing, right? Even for my massive giant brain, which is way bigger than your pea brain. No, I'm borderline stupid, fecal. I just said fecal. Yeah, that proves that. So, my brain is dog, fecal, feces, manure, poo shit. Yeah, and don't forget it. But I know that when I'm playing those complicated move decks, when I play down the Heimdall, I'm like, yeah, at least I know where one card's going, right? Pros. He is a more reliable and easier to play card than other scalers in move decks. Like, you ain't got to bounce Hydra Stomper, right? You could leave him where he is. You know what he's going to be, well, roughly. And you could just feel confident. He's got like a staple sort of factor. Yeah, it's like, yeah, fine. He can reach a very high ceiling with decks that utilise a lot of movers. So like we said, the Werewolf by Night... Sorry, I looked directly at my light. And now I'm in like significant... It is quite bright. I'm going to turn it down a little bit just because I'm in a significant pain from that. So I've mentioned Werewolf by Night as like a potential big trigger for him. But hey, what about Silk? Right? Silk automatically moves like without you even having to do anything apart from play a card on her. But your opponent can play the cards on her. She's going to be pinging around like a pong pong. Like a pong pong. Alright, it's going to be incredible. Like Silk and Hydra Stomper. I mean, you just play Hydra Stomper on top of Silk straight away. And boom, there's your additional +1. Yeah, her bussing around everywhere. Stick a Craven in there as well. I think it actually could be a very fun card. And as an ongoing ability, he'll scale in your deck. So you can play him late in the game. None of this, oh, he's an activate card, so you can't play him on the final turn. No, get him out on the final turn as a surprise power play. Also, I kind of like, I think we'll look at this in the deck section, right? But I kind of like in a move deck when they're obviously expecting you to move all the cards and you just don't move any of them. I think that's kind of fun. Anyway, cons. More reliably disruptible because he may not be moved himself. Sorry, I read that like a robot. But yeah, because you're probably, generally speaking... Oh my god, have I absolutely messed up my eyes by looking at that light? Because you're just going to be plonking him down and leaving him, your opponent might be able to either Enchantress him or do other things to him that we'll look at in the counters section. And he's got a lower potential ceiling than similarly costed and synergistic cards like Vulture. Vulture only needs to be moved twice to get +12, right? Whereas you'd need to move 12 cards or have moved cards 12 times to get +12 on Hydra Stomper, right? So, yeah, but those cards work together, you know. You don't have to play them separately. Play them together. Let's look at locations before we look at counters though. So good locations include basically anything which automatically moves one of your cards, or at least allows you to move your cards, right? So we've got Aunt May's. Great Web is going to move loads, well, hopefully loads of your cards. It might move your opponent's cards as well. New York could be a good one for you. That could be just an additional +4 if you completely avoid the location yourself. Bifrost, again, could be a +4 for you. Quantum Realm, lovely little location because we can very easily scale Hydra Stomper in there. Onslaught Citadel is practically going to double Hydra Stomper's power, so we like that. And Asteroid M, getting those auto moves again, going to feel really meaningful for Hydra Stomper. Old HS over here. Like Hearthstone, isn't it? Anyway, bad locations. Fisk Tower. This is in here because basically you'll be playing Hydra Stomper in a move deck where you're moving a lot of your cards. So, last thing you want to see is Hydra Stomper. Deep Space, obviously, goes without saying why that's bad. And similarly, Isle of Silence. Also, Rex. The other counters, or the counters that your opponent can play, of course, include Scream, who just got nerfed down to 2-1. But, again, you're playing Hydra Stomper in a move deck. If they're playing Scream, they're going to benefit from you moving. The slight consideration there is if you are a move deck and you are against, excuse me, a Scream deck. Oh my god, my voice has gone now. Then Kingpin is really almost a bigger counter than Scream. Because if you're moving your own cards first, it means actually that your opponent is in less control of which cards they're debuffing. And if you're moving Vulture each time and stuff, it's kind of fine. You're getting +6 when they're getting the equivalent of 4. So hopefully that's sorted my voice. It's barely sorted my voice. So I don't know what's happening here, but we'll try and power through anyway. Red Guardian can probably get down early enough that it can target Hydra Stomper. That being said, you might have already moved stuff by turn 3, or certainly by turn 4 in the time that Red Guardian is able to attack you, or target Hydra Stomper I should say, so might not always be the most reliable counter. Enchantress, however, will be a relatively reliable counter unless you move Hydra Stomper as well. And Magneto can move Hydra Stomper himself. So Magneto is an interesting one though, because if he's moving Hydra Stomper and maybe some other things, they're probably losing the Magneto location. Quite possibly. But Synergies, as we said, a couple of the ones we've already spoken about, Silk and Werewolf by Night, I think are both going to be cool. They can move multiple times. I think if you are moving cards so frequently, then Miles Morales makes a lot of sense. Pretty much just always going to be discounted, right? And then Hercules can get +1 auto move each turn. So again, in that Caps deck with the shield pinging around, I think you're really going to like that. And then Heimdall can get 8 extra moves, right? Heimdall can literally be a +8 to Hydra Stomper, making him a 3/10. Is that not wild? Could a win condition not simply just be some of the move scalers like Vulture, what's his name, Human Torch, and then a couple of just good cards? Play Hydra Stomper, you win that location with the +6 and the +2 on the Human Torch, and then you've got Hydra Stomper, the Heimdall. Look at, actually, does that work? Can you do that? No, I don't think you can. But do a turn 7 and get Sarah, and you can do it. Right, let's look at the decks, guys. First one I've got for you is our budget deck. So we've only got Hydra Stomper as the Series 5 card in here, and this is a no tricks move deck, okay? But it relies 100% on Heimdall. So, because it relies 100% on Heimdall, we've got Adam Warlock in here to try and help us draw Heimdall more reliably. Otherwise, we are just doing what I just described a minute ago. Playing your move scalers in one location, so it could be like Human Torch, Dagger, Craven, Vulture. Those cards in one location. Hopefully that locks down that location, and when you eventually move it to the right at the end of the game, hopefully you'll win it. Or is it left? It's left, isn't it? What am I saying? Sorry for misleading you. Anyway, so hopefully win that location. But this card does have some tricks. You can win other locations via things like the Nebula and the Adam Warlock. Remember, Adam Warlock scales. We have got Shang-Chi in here, so we can just take care of another location. We've got Captain Marvel to potentially move at the end of the game. We got Vision, we can change our plans. We got Spider-Man 2099, if you don't move him, is just a big card. If you do move, you could put him in another location. If you do move him, hopefully you manage to snipe one of their big cards. So don't underestimate this deck, even though you've only got Heimdall as the trigger. And it's just a simple, and I think it's going to be a really fun one to play. Then we've got Keep On Moving. Now this is like the polar opposite. You're moving all the time instead of just once. Although in that in the previous deck, in that one move, you are moving a lot of cards. Anyway, in this deck, this is like, you've got Captain America in here for the shield pinging around. You've got Hercules to ping that shield back out. You've got Silk, who's going to be thrown around everywhere. Because of that, we've got Craven in here. We've also got Madam Web to try and trigger some of our scaling action with Vulture. We have got the Ghost Spider in case we want to pull anything. We've even got Cloak. Yeah, let our opponent move as well. Screw it. And we have got Heimdall as well. So basically, I think this deck's just going to be complete chaos. I look forward to playing it. And then the last deck we've got for you this time, I called it Dark Move. This is basically like a little movers deck, like a bounce deck, utilising the recently buffed Toxin. You got your small move activators in here, so hopefully you can do like a turn 2 Iron Fist into a turn 3 Vulture. You could do a turn 4 Frigga, which could be very interesting. Turn 5 you can beast some of this stuff back, and then turn 6 you can play like 2 Vultures and like move activators and stuff and go absolutely bonkers alongside any other chaos and random stuff that you can throw in there. So yeah, just fun stuff. Good. Shout out guys, if you haven't liked the video yet, please do that. That really helps the channel, and you should certainly subscribe and turn on notifications. So my star ratings for Hydra Stomper, I think overall he's a solid card. I've given him 3 stars. I think if anything I'm low on him. I'm a little bit low. I could see him being higher. I could see him making more move decks than we expect. And I think he definitely brings something to those chaos move decks where you are pinging around stuff all the time. Those aren't really a thing yet, because like they only really rely on Craven, don't they? Like, yes, you get reliable discounts from Miles and stuff with those decks, but Craven is the only one who's scaling. Maybe Hydra Stomper makes those more Chaos-style move decks a real thing. I think from a fun perspective, because of that, I think he's actually going to be a 4-star card. I think those decks he's going to be in are inherently fun. For the archetype, 3.5, he is a new tool, he is a valuable tool, and from a competitive standpoint, 3, I think he'll be fine. But, because he's only fine or good, he's kind of a pass for me, I think. Yeah, I mean, I like him. I am actually getting him personally, because Snap Packs comes out at the same time. I'm basically just going to be opening all the packs, and it's going to get me collection complete, to be fair, guys. I've been hoarding tokens and hoarding keys, so yeah, I'm going to be in a good position. So yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about let's talk about the previous week's cards. Yeah, we've got a couple of cards that have come out in the last week. So we've got Strange Supreme. I gave him 5 stars originally. I think I'd give him 5 stars now. I think he's very strong, very powerful. I think he does need a bit of support by way of Cosmo or armor or something to stop his power going back down. Because if they do wreck you with that Shang-Chi or that Shadow King, it's not just Strange Supreme that you're losing. You have to remember this. You have also invested quite a lot of resource into generating cards, and so he's taking all of that power with him. So those counters are so meaningful and so powerful. However, if you can get that Cosmo down or whatever, or just inherently from Strange Supreme being so incredibly strong, he is definitely a 5-star card. He's had a huge impact on the meta, and he's very fun. I find him a very fun card to play, and he's just generally very good. The other card is Toxie Doxie. I gave her 3.5 stars. Oof. Yeah, I'm not sure about it, guys. I think I'm landing on 2 stars. The reason I'm landing on 2 stars and not any lower is because I actually do find her quite fun to play, and she feeds into a deck style that I really like. Just buffs in general, one of my favourite styles of decks. The big difference here, my star rating being 1.5 stars lower than what I gave her before, is in my video I said, do not underestimate her downside. And I underestimated her downside. It can be so incredibly frustrating, and it can just lock out the cards that you are planning to play, and it just doesn't work all that often. Now, I will say, Makari with her I absolutely love, and there's other synergies that I think are going to be really good, especially Penny Parker. Penny Parker generating that extra card and just being alongside her in the buff synergistic zone or like merger style deck, I think is going to work out for the better, especially with Spider's recent buff, right? So yeah, she's cut, but 2 stars. She's coming lower than I thought, guys. Anyway, what do you think of all these cards that I've discussed? What do you think about everything that we've talked about today? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.